Hello, good people, and welcome to the Amateur Hour. My name's Justin.
My name is Adam Stone.
And I'm the one called Junior.
And today we're sponsored by EBXYA and Lofty Cat Studios. And not by a friend of the show, because the friend of the show is actually guest hosting for us today. Welcome back, Adam Stone.
Happy to be here, especially this way. And like we were mentioning before, I'm still waiting for my full, complete amateur hour experience because someone's missing every time.
I know. I feel bad for you. I was explaining to you earlier, and I'll re-explain it for the viewers at home. That we had Junior missing last time because he was secretly getting engaged, and then now this time we're missing what's it called, Tyler, because again he's got work. He's working. People, the time of the corona is not treating him well when it comes to work. Health-wise, he's doing fine. But yeah, I think we could dive into that real quick. Adam, last time he couldn't make it because, well, he was caught in traffic when he was trying to scurry through that.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what happened that day.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened that day.
It was like the worst traffic I've hit in a while going there.
Yeah, it was the traffic was insane. I remember us getting there. It was actually even insane then because it was raining.
Yeah.
I had a scheduled time frame for the studio hours, and I could barely get anything that was good. Like I wanted to get 3 hours just in case, so that way we had time to prep and get ready and set up or whatever and get comfortable. And just in case someone was late, like we would have had time. But unfortunately, in the studio hours, I was only able to get an hour. And by the time Junior was almost there, and he was like, all right, I guess just start it. It was like 30 minutes left of studio time. So I felt super upset, and I didn't want to give Adam here the half experience. So then we ended up going to Indiana.
Yeah,
it was raining that day.
Yeah, because I had class the next day, so I was like, I was gonna do it for the amateur hour for Justin. So we just took the train, went all the way to St. John, and I slept in his house. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was wild. And then after we record a wonderful, wonderful podcast, we lose half of it. I was so upset. You were there that day. I was like super angry because I worked so hard, and I know it was very nice of you to come all the way out here to end up coming to the studio and recording. I mean, it made for a wonderful adventure, though.
Yeah, no, I'll never forget it. Pretty cool.
Memories, man.
Yeah, got good old fond wet memories because we were soaked.
Yeah.
That was a stupid joke, but anyway.
That was a good one, man.
So I hope you've been holding up, Adam, with this quarantine.
I mean, when I got here, when I got back from the States, I was in quarantine already because my parents thought I had the virus. So I was in my room for like 2 weeks. And then after those 2 weeks, then the official quarantine starts. So I've never got to get out of my house. So yeah, no, but I've been writing music, and I've been thinking like more of like the marketing side of my music as well. I mean, these times have been only for that mainly, in playing video games as well. So so yeah, but no, it's been. I'm starting to have some anxiety. I think like the weather's so nice outside. I really want to do something, and then I don't know why all of a sudden our neighbors decided to start going out and I don't know, like walking and running, and that never happens. I think everybody's desperate, so that's why. But yeah, I mean, we're just here, and I mean, I'm happy doing music. This is my cave. I'm living here every time, so yeah. But no, it's been good. How about yours?
I mean, we've been fairly well. On my part, I've just been playing a lot of Xbox and now doing those Zoom classes for college. So that's always
Yeah.
A blast.
Yeah, I
I
love
actually got some assignments to do today while we're after we record this. Later in the day, I have like an essay to write, and I know I have like 3 or 4 homework assignments for my other class, and I'm just like dreading every minute of it.
yeah.
I think it makes it worse that I'm not going into a classroom setting and having that experience because you got it, you're home and you get on these online classes and you're home again still and then now you have to do homework. It just feels like a lot worse, I feel like. And then also, what I do though during these Zoom classes, and it's a bit of a secret here, but people are gonna probably roast me, but I work out while I'm in these classes. I have my
Good.
camera muted, I have my sound muted, so that way
You
no
should
one's
just
hearing
unmute
my
the camera, man.
leave the camera on, try and impress the
Like,
ladies
yeah,
while I
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
yeah, what's that?
Let me chop
Uh-huh.
that down.
Not only am I working my brain muscles, I'm working my real muscles.
Yeah, it's very good.
But yeah, so I do that while I'm doing those classes. Can you imagine if I had that the sound open, like in just hearing me grunt, lifting something? It'd be super awkward. But yeah, no. So I've been doing that, editing stuff for my other YouTube channel as well. The Red Tiger Clan.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a bunch of video game stuff as well. So
Yeah, I've been watching some of those.
and definitely texting friends, seeing how they're doing, constantly messaging everyone, and so that way I'm feeling sane. I call like someone at least once every 2 weeks or a week so far.
Mm.
Yeah, Junior, you could probably again tell them how you've been doing as well.
It's pretty much been the same for me. Just a little more video games recently, but still not that much. Other than that, it's just been working, trying to furnish the living room. So that's been one thing that's taken up a lot of time. A lot of music being played. But yeah, not
Yeah,
by me. Not by me. I'm not.
yeah, I was about to say.
particularly.
I'm like, I know who's playing all the music. Last time we were playing some Xbox, I was like, or at least every time I could hear some jams. But the last time, the jam I heard was the actually recent podcast episode 13 of when you got engaged. So we talked
Yeah.
about the experience. So okay, so you said you've been writing some music. So you been like working out lyrically,
No, both
music?
musically, but really inspiring on a apocalyptic scenario. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Um, yeah, I started writing this year. Started writing a little bit more and diving into like more apocalyptic type of things. And then it just all of a sudden happened with that whole virus thing, and I was like, well, I'll just maybe just like a sign to keep on writing about those things. And but the song that I mean, remember every day, no, like right now, I think like that's the song for the quarantine. The chorus.
Right? Yeah, no, you're right. It's the perfect song. I mean, I definitely say everyone should check it out on YouTube. I'll probably put the link in the description and link at the end of the video as well. Every day, everyone. It's
Every day.
definitely a song about kind of doing things like, pretty much every day.
Yeah. So it's been that, and I mean, I just feel I'm also having my online classes, but I think they've just been
Yes.
taking a little bit of my space, to be honest, because for me, my classes are like when we were in person, they were supposed to be like ensembles where we get to play together and everything. But now, since we are like in this like Zoom world, it doesn't work like that. It's horrible. Imagine having like 40 guitar players connected at the same time, playing at the same time. No thanks.
That's super like awkward, just sitting there like
Yeah,
everyone's shredding a guitar solo at the same time.
yeah. The virus ruined the class, so I mean, it's not gonna be the same anymore. So no, yeah, but I've been writing music. I'm still trying to do the write a song every week thing.
That's good.
which I mean, right now, right now I'm ahead of the weeks that have been in the year, so
Oh.
I'm kind of proud of that as well. And but yeah, no, it's good, but I also need to go out. You know, I need some sunlight. I need something. So I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been like sitting outdoors at all? I've seen at least some people they sit in their backyard and they have
Yeah,
like a
I mean,
tea or something.
I live outside the city, so there's not a lot of people, so I can just go outside a little bit. Um, I can drive maybe like without just like go outside and go back and forth or something. But still, my parents are like, no, you cannot go out that much. I did escape one time, but because I was I was like feel like I need something. And, but yeah, no. But yeah, I mean the weather's so nice right now, and sad that I cannot go outside.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine going back to like classes and stuff. How do you feel about this whole idea of the pass or fail instead of a grade?
Ah,
I
I don't know. I don't know. I just hate the online classes. That's everything I know. uh, but I mean, I think it's a good thing because it will. I think it will affect the way that people are learning, of course, especially since it's an art school.
yeah.
So if things have to be in person, so I don't know how it's gonna affect different careers. Like for example, music, it has to be in person or things like that. So I think it's just like in case something happens, but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I was definitely seeing like some schools have that already in effect where it's like a pass or fail, and I think some of the college students they can opt choose to opt out of their class if they have a good grade because it's a passing or failing grade. So
mhm.
I think that's super weird too because it's also not supposed to affect their GPA. But when it comes to our school, I'm not sure if we can do that.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I mean, I know it's an option to have a pass or fail, but I don't know if like right now, if I chose to opt out of one class and I chose to do like let's say I have a passing grade, then I could hit a pass and then just opt out and finish the semester for the class. I'm not sure if that's a thing I could do because if it is, I know for one of my classes, I'm definitely gonna do that. But yeah, no, I think that's very strange way of grading. I know there's some schools in other countries that use that sort of pass or fail already, so it's like I
mhm.
guess nothing different.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, so how do you feel though of finally at least being back home and
Oh
I know
yeah.
you've been out here and you're a bit homesick, so how do you feel now?
I mean, I I was feeling very excited when I found out that I was gonna go back before the day that I was actually gonna go back.
Yeah.
But the way that I was going back, so meaning I was going to be here and then I was going to be in quarantine, that wasn't going to be pretty cool. But I mean, just being with my family and being with my sister, that's pretty cool. And the only thing is that, for example, my grandparents, I cannot see them that much.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of sad. But no, I'm very happy that I'm here. But it feels weird because I cannot go out, but I'm here. So like I know my friends are here. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird that I cannot see them being here. So
Yeah, finally getting home and you're under like house arrest.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's
So
perfect fair.
yeah, no. But yeah, I mean I cannot wait for this thing to to end. I really need to go outside and I need to see everyone that I didn't. The last time I saw like all my friends was like in January or something. Like there was this party and I just saw them, but it was pretty briefly. And I
Yeah.
really need to see them. I didn't know it was gonna take like 4 months to see them again for five.
Yeah, like this definitely happened so suddenly. I remember we literally were excited because we were trying to at least plan some sort of gigs out.
Yeah, like yeah, like a party in my room or something. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I remember it was definitely going to be super exciting. I had an idea for one of the hopefully getting you into one of the end of the semester like manifest, I believe it's called,
Mm.
that Columbia College puts on every year. And then we also you literally had a concert on one day, and you ended up having to cancel, and I was supposed to go to that too, and I ended up having to cancel all because of this virus mess.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad we ended up having to cancel in general because it was the best thing to do and smartest thing to do for the safety of everyone else. But it was really sad because I definitely was very excited to end up going to the event.
No, yeah, me too. And there were some people that still played when on that show. So
I
it was,
wonder, I wonder how many people showed up. Was it like
but
five, 10?
that was the other thing. Um, that how many people was gonna show up? I don't know. Like I think it was
Yeah.
musicians that were gonna support musicians. But and then actually that same day I canceled, and then I just started packing everything up, and I spoke with my parents, and they were already like planning the flight back to Mexico.
Yeah, I'm glad you got ahead of this virus because yeah, that would have been crazy if you'd end up getting caught out this way. I mean, I wouldn't even know what you would be able to do because they end up closing dorms and
Oh
all
yeah,
this other stuff.
yeah. I was thinking of like leaving my things there and just coming home, but uh, I don't know. We had this feeling that it was gonna get worse, so I just said, you know what, just take everything out just in case and put it in a storage unit or something. So I still have to go back to pick up my things, some of my things.
Oh wow.
So when I go back, I'll go and say hi to you.
Yes, yes, most definitely. You better. And hopefully by the time you come back, we can have an actual amateur hour experience as well.
Yes.
And we could probably do some things around Indiana. I think that would be a bunch of fun. Do some good old Indiana things like bowling.
I don't know,
Like,
man. Those might be gone by the time this is all done.
yeah, like it's kind of insane, having all this stuff going on. But yeah, I definitely would love to with you when this is all over to
Yeah.
have this sort of experience. I think it'll
Hmm.
be really fun. So you said you're finding some of these times to kind of inspire you into writing your music. Is this like, so in a way, creatively, are you happy creatively that this kind of sort of happened? Because it kind of, I don't know if it given you how many songs you're able to write out of this or,
Oh yeah,
um,
so many songs because there's even if it's like one topic as a whole, which is the virus, and like this whole end of the world theme or something feeling. There's a lot of different feelings that I can get when writing music. Like for example, if I want to go out or like just what I think about the world as a whole with the virus going on. So there's definitely a lot of things that I can write about, and yeah, I mean, right now I have like 26 songs or something like that, 27, like the entire
wow.
year. So that's pretty cool. And of course, not all of them are the best, but at least I know how not to write a song. And but yeah, I mean, I've been I recently saw some other people also saying the same thing, like this is a time to write music, but all of the things they write about is just love, 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 love. So even if it's not like an apocalyptic scenario, it has to be love. It has to be love always. And it's like you can talk about other things as well. You know, it doesn't have to be always about the same thing. So
Yeah.
so that's when I come in and I say like, okay, I'm just gonna start writing about everything. And I've been shifting the theme a little bit into like a more fantasy sci-fi thing with like aliens and things like that. And I was like, why not? You know, it's already happening, the whole thing. Um, and but yeah, no, I'm being pretty happy with like the whole things that I've been creating, because also musically I feel like I'm a little more mature. So I feel like I've been finding a little more of my sound into like this mixing and the blend of the genres that I'm creating. I feel they make more sense. So I feel happy about that. It's kind of like a hip hop alternative rock thing going on with some classical things. So remember I told you about that like last
Yeah,
semester. I feel it's blending even more right now, so it makes more sense right now.
that's
So yeah,
awesome.
I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember, yeah, you telling me all about the process of you were trying to include that a bit of the classical feel to everything, and I
Yeah.
could definitely see how, how that can change a few things,
Yeah.
given the tone.
No, yeah, I've been writing also some like instrumental songs, so it doesn't have to be also like lyrical content. So I've been also going through that world of like maybe only like a classical piece or something more orchestral with only piano or violin and things like that, which is something I've never done before, but it sounds good. So right now I think it's also the perfect time to be experimenting. So
Yeah, and then I don't know. I think that's really cool. I do agree with you, and this is. I think maybe we could dive a little bit deeper into this, but writing songs consistently about love, right? Like I can see that can get annoying. Like especially now, like the virus happened, I had to get some Clorox wipes, and like I couldn't talk to her for years. My heart felt like it was distant. Or you start end up writing something, and now you don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that is a lack of innovation. Like, what do you feel about the recent climate of music? Does that seem like it's has this lack of innovation where all you're hearing is songs about love or
I
songs about a
feel
particular topic?
I feel there's a formula. So when somebody figures out how to write a song and it works, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna follow that because they know it's gonna work. So doesn't mean that they're not creative, uh, but they could be a little bit more, in my opinion, because you're just creating something that worked for someone, but doesn't mean it's gonna work for you as well. We're just gonna work for the first three people out of 20 that want to write music, and I felt that starting from like the climate in my high school, which was like everyone writing the same type of music, and and then like there was someone that found a way to blend something, and it worked. So now everybody's trying to write things like that. When you get into a point in which you think like it's the same and you need something different, but at the same time, I feel people like the audience gets to familiar with the sound that it's not willing to accept new type of music as well. So it's kind of hard, but I mean, I personally don't care if they like my music or not. I just want to do something different. So I think with that, I just feel different from like the whole other people that were trying to do the same. And I don't have anything against writing about love. I think it's one of the most easy things to write. But like, let's be honest, not like if in the year it's impossible that the 365 days you're gonna be like feeling something about love for someone if you're not even in a relationship, you know? Like I feel there's gonna be other problems as well, like school problems, social problems that you can write about. It doesn't have to be like I don't think every day of your life you're gonna be thinking like something about love, you
Yeah.
know? So even if you're in a relationship, I don't think like yes, you have the person, you love her or you love him, but I mean there's gonna be other days, there's gonna be other problems as well that you shouldn't ignore. I feel you can turn them into music. Like there's more opportunity to turn that into art, for example. So I feel people are a little bit. I think they're ignoring the fact that there are more topics to write about just because everybody's writing about love, but doesn't mean that you cannot write about other things. People can connect to other things as well, especially in these times. You can write about quarantine, but that's the other thing. Why you write about quarantine, but there's some people going to write quarantine and love. So I mean, I mean, I mean, I feel but I mean, I don't have anything against them. I just have something against people not wanting to do something different. Like, I don't know, because if they are afraid to do something different, or maybe, I don't know, but I feel like there's a lot of more opportunity in other areas to make art out of it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm doing me, so I'm happy with what I'm doing. If you want to do love. I don't care.
Yeah,
So
I think a little bit also comes from how you were just mentioning how there's a formula. So um, I think maybe people just being surrounded by it so much, it kind of just gets stuck in their head. And so they
Hmm.
think they're kind of being creative, but they just pull in from what's already been force fed to them. Maybe it's a little
Yeah,
of that too.
yeah. I mean, it's good to be influenced. I'm also influenced by a lot of things that already exist, that already work, that are formulas. But there needs to be a point in which you uh, need to, if you have your inspirations, you have to start also developing your own music. And I don't mean only your own style, but also what you're going to talk about and all of those things.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I listen to a love song and it's pretty cool and I want to do that, well, that's pretty cool. But there also needs to be a point in which I have to find something that makes me different from those things. So, I think that's pretty important as well. But I feel people are not considering that as an important thing right now.
Yeah.
I just want to do something that already worked and hope that it works for them as well.
Do you have any top picks that you get inspiration from, like movies right now or certain
I've been
artists?
definitely watching. Well, I was trying to watch some sci-fi movies like Alien and things like
Okay.
that because I was getting into the apocalyptic spatial alien invasion, like Independence Day or something like that. I was also reading 1984 by George Orwell, which was like
Yeah.
this dystopian world, which was pretty. I felt it was pretty cool to write something about that. So yeah, recently I've been diving into that kind of world of end of the world or kind of like that. So uh, yeah, and but I while I'm doing that, I'm also careful of what's happening around me. So I don't. If something happens to me, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm just going to try to make it work with what I'm running right now and what happened to me. So kind of blend those things, but also be like always watching what's happening around me to write about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just to write music about uh, anything that I can. It doesn't have to be uh, like any. It can be an experience, but it also, I mean, you can find metaphors from. You can make metaphors out of anything. So you just have to be creative, and that's all. Yeah.
So do you find it difficult to make something, I guess, innovative? Do you feel that that's something you're trying to achieve to be like create something officially new when it comes to music? And because I personally, right, like I can't think of any sort of because I guess I'm a creative type, but I'm a different creative type. And it's kind of hard to see the vision of innovation sometimes especially when it comes to music, I think. So how do you feel like you can achieve that? And is that something you're trying to achieve? And is
Yeah,
it difficult?
I feel every artist should try to get to that point. But I know that most of the things have already been created at this point. So I feel it's more about finding the right genres to blend, which is what I'm trying to do. So um, what I think is like from all the artists that I've listened to, there's a good variety of different genres in there as well. So using all of them to will eventually make me be me because I'm the only one who listens to those specific artists. So it's just about working out like different ways that when writing music, like trying to see how it can work and how it doesn't work. So it's definitely something that I'm trying to do, and I feel like I'm getting closer to it. But like in past years, I was also trying to look for that, but I felt like I wasn't getting there because I needed more inspiration. from different artists. Maybe at that point I just listened to two artists, so it wasn't going to be like that original. But right now that I've been having more um, influences and being introduced to new music, I feel like I can put more, like a little bit of something here and a little bit of something over there, and so things like that. And yeah, but and then I go back to the same point about writing things that everybody writes. So I think that's one important thing, like writing something that not everybody will write about. And musically, well, I feel like I've been getting there with the whole like blending those artists that I've been listening to. So it's definitely hard because it took me a lot of time. Like it's 2020, so I've been trying to do this in like 2016 or 2017 and getting frustrated because I just didn't know what was my actual sound. And then I thought that was my sound, but then you compare it to other things and you're like, no, it's just like another copy or something. So it definitely takes a lot of time, but you have to be patient about it, and you have to. I mean, like I lock myself in my room every time to kind of figure out what to do. So I feel like I'm getting there. I haven't been. I'm not there completely, but I think I found like a way that can work. So that's why this year I've been pretty happy about the things that I've been writing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely I think it's cool that you're watching Alien to help you with that sort of writing process. I personally, that's something haven't really heard of a musician doing, like watching a film and kind of trying to apply that with certain themes of
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited to hear that when it comes out and to know the inspiration that kind of came behind that. I think it was also a cool little tidbit, if you will.
You were
Yeah.
mentioning like a apocalypse, and the first thing that came to my head was like Mad Max for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mad Max, and then I don't know, just because the word, I was thinking of the Apocalypto movie.
Yeah.
It was the Aztec or Mayan, whatever movie, I forgot with what sort of tribe that was taking place with. But I don't know, yeah, that popped in my brain too when you said apocalypse. But with that said, we're around time for break. So we're gonna head to break. So I hope you guys enjoy a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with some more Adam Stone. All right, catch you guys. Get high quality XLR cables from EBXYA. EBXYA makes keeping track of your cables easier by delivering 6 different color coding options. Their cables are made with a durable metallic connector, which allows your cable to last longer. Their cables are also made with a flexible, durable PVC jacket cable, imported with remarkable tenacity, elasticity, waterproof, mold-proof, and anti-cracking. Keep your sound intact and search EBXYA on Amazon today.
Hey Justin, you like to sing, right? Give us a little something. Hey! You need to take that over to Lofty Cat Studios. You can record that kind of music there. They got drum kits, acoustic pianos, Fender and Martin guitars. They can help you get your music on all streaming platforms and get you some CDs made.
All right. Welcome back to the Amateur Hour, and I hope you enjoyed the word from our sponsors. And right now, I'm gonna tell you a pretty fun, intense quarantine story that I was part of.
Ooh, tense. I
So
like this.
I was dating this girl. I'm dating this girl. Yeah, I wasn't. I am. Yeah. Well, the last time that I saw her, it was in January before I went to the States. So imagine being like 2 months away, and um, so I was gonna go back at the end of March, and we were gonna spend time together for like a week for Easter, and I was gonna go back, and everything was gonna be normal. But then the whole virus thing happens, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm gonna see her before. But no, when I get here, I'm stuck in quarantine in my own room, and then things gonna get worse. And so we start talking, and I'm like, you know what? I feel I need to see you. Like I really need to see you, and I'm in quarantine right now. I'm not supposed to leave my house, but I really need to. And she doesn't drive yet, so the only way that I could see her, it's me going to her house. I have to drive. That was the only thing, and I was really considering that. I was like before it gets worse, why not? I can do it one time.
Oh,
So uh, I knew I shouldn't go out, and her parents also told her like things are gonna get pretty bad here, so you cannot go out as well. So we had to find a time in the day and a day of the week to be able to meet. After like 1 month and a half of being away. So I remember we planned the whole thing. It was gonna be on a Sunday morning, Sunday like 6 a.m. Wake up and just tell my parents like, yeah, I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna be by myself. It's gonna be outside in my neighborhood. It's nothing bad. And they said, no, that's good, as long as you don't go with someone else because you're supposed to be in quarantine. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I had to. My house has an alarm system, and I knew I had to unlock the thing, and it was gonna sound the entire house. So I was like, my parents are gonna wake up, and maybe they didn't believe me that I was actually gonna go outside at 6 a.m. So, and then I had like the whole feeling of being pretty nervous because I had to drive through the entire city, all the way. I had to cross the city to go to her house. It's like a 30-minute thing, or well, 20 without traffic. But so I put the code. My mom wakes up and she's like, "Are you seriously gonna go outside right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going for a run." And she was like, "Okay, but just here." And like, there's this pretty cool place, like 5 minutes from here that I can go, but I had to drive there. And she thought that I was gonna, for some reason, she thought that I was gonna go there walking. That's why she didn't want me to go outside. But I was like, no, I'm gonna drive there. Like, it's gonna be fine. And I just took the car and I left.
oh, wow.
And so I'm driving and I start getting phone calls from my mom. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh, this is not the place. I have to get there and I can answer. I get to my girlfriend's house and I pick up the phone and she's like, where are you? But she wasn't pretty angry. She was like, just like, where are you? And I was
yeah.
like, I went to the place that I told you I'm running right now. So yes. And she was like, okay, but be careful. And I was like, yeah. So I went all the way there at 6 a.m. and that was when I officially started dating with my girlfriend. Like that's when I asked the question of like, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? And I mean, I went. Normally here in Mexico, the tradition is you bring flowers, you bring chocolate, you bring everything to make like this whole thing. Hey, you want to be my girlfriend? And like, yeah, and everybody's pretty happy. And I didn't have flowers, I didn't have chocolate, I didn't have anything. But I was like, I already woke up at 6 a.m. I crossed the city in the middle of the virus thing. The world is gonna end. So you want to be my girlfriend? Yes or no? Yes or yes. and, and yeah, and that was pretty fun to do. I went back home, everything was normal, and then but my parents didn't know that I already had a girlfriend, and it wouldn't make sense that I tell them because they would be like,
Yeah.
when did that happen? So I could see her like the next week. My parents let me when I finished my quarantine. They told me you can go and see her, and her parents were like, yeah, you can go and see her. We just stayed in her house outside, but that was when we said that we were when we became like a official
Yeah.
like, couple. But now everything's weird because my mom's like, oh, 27, it's gonna be the day, and like no, mom's like, actually it's 22.
Oh.
but, but yeah, and I don't want to say I did it like 2 more times, like escaping my house. I did.
oh my gosh.
I did it 2 times, and but the third time, which was the one that, well, like was the official like face slap, because her dad saw me,
Oh,
and I was pretty scared because I thought he was gonna say something like you cannot go out with him anymore.
oof.
But he was actually pretty calm about it. He's pretty cool. And he was like, no, like love is love, and just next time tell us it's gonna happen, and nothing's gonna happen. So
Okay.
yeah, but it's a pretty cool story. Like going, It's a like a grandchild story thing that I
Yeah,
want to tell them. That would be pretty cool. It's a quality.
yeah.
It's pretty high
About
quality.
the time you went out and you drove you
And I,
drove across the freaking apocalyptic setting
yeah,
of this quarantine. But
yeah.
when you're actually supposed to go out for a jog, what sort of example are you setting?
No, I know. I did. I told one friend got angry at me. He was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I was just gonna be one time. I haven't seen her, but it was actually 3 times. But and then after the first time, I told all my friends, "No worry, it's just one time. It's not gonna happen anymore. I'm not like that. I felt pretty bad when I did it." And then in like 2 weeks, I did the same thing.
Oh my
but,
gosh.
but it's not gonna happen anymore. I'm just gonna wait all the way to when this ends. My girlfriend was the one who told me like you shouldn't come too much. And I was like, love is love. When there's love, anything's possible. So
You're
and
like they write stories and songs about this. I mean, you gotta go.
when I got home, I wrote a song about that. And no, but that's when the apocalyptic love thing comes in.
Okay.
So I was writing about apocalypses and all of those things, and then this love experience happened. So that's when I blend those things, and boom, there you go, magic.
Yeah, there you go. Innovating the just rather than just love sort of trend, right?
Yeah.
Adding the twist to it, if you will. I mean, I would say this, people at home, please don't go out.
Oh no, no, like
This was before the quarantine then, right? Like
that
where it
was
was like,
that was before like the second phase or third phase thing started.
yeah.
So everything's pretty calm. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not also stupid. Like I know the risk and everything. So yeah, but yeah, that was a true story.
Junior, I know you had a question in regards to for Adam actually.
Yeah, just what were some of the things you saw different just from the U.S. versus Mexico? I think I talked about a couple in a previous podcast because I had went to Guadalajara
Yeah.
back in January. So I just want to see your perspective on things.
I feel at least here, what I felt was that I didn't have people don't give a lot of attention when you're like a local artist. Um, and I feel like this works in every place where you have to know people in order to find where to play and things like that. I did feel like people were a little more supportive in the States, at least for local artists, or there was like more opportunities like open mics and things like that. We don't have open mics over here. So it's not like you can just show up and start playing like that. So that was one of the things that I was pretty happy about, having that opportunity of just showing up and having the opportunity to play without necessarily going through all the process of like booking and things like that. Uh, Whereas I feel like here you have to know certain people to be able to play in certain places, which I've been um, getting to know more people, so I think that's a good thing. So I have more opportunities to play. But I certainly feel like even the people who were supporting in the States was more responsive to the things that I was doing. I don't know if it's also because I sing in English, and maybe that was one of the other things. I mean, the whole reason I went to the States was because of that, because my music is in English and I wanted to play in front of people that actually like understand what I'm saying. It's not only like musical, it's also lyrical. Um, but there's like this whole like legal thing going on top of me because I'm an international student, so I don't have like the same freedom to play and get paid or things like that. So that's like a disadvantage. But there's certainly a lot of differences. But sometimes I wish I was born in the States so I could just play like that because I feel it's a little bit more, it's better over there. Not saying that it's not good here, but at least for my music and for this tragedy that I will try to aim for, I think that will be the way. It's just a little bit hard given that I'm an international student. But nowadays I feel you can do anything through internet, and you can promote yourself, and people in Australia can listen to you, and people in Europe can listen to you. So I feel it's good that there's not a lot of boundaries right now because you have the internet, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, but,
Okay.
yeah.
Was there something that made you choose English to do your songs in?
I think it just came naturally when I started writing music. It just came out in English, and I started writing in English, and I never stopped to think like, why am I writing in English until people popped the question to me like, why are you not writing in Spanish if you're from Mexico? And it's just nothing that I don't have anything against writing in Spanish. It's just I don't have that. It doesn't happen when I write music. When I write music, there's something in me that just starts writing in English, and I feel it's actually I think it's easier to write in English for me than Spanish. It's kind of weird with the like the oh like the words and everything.
Yeah.
Uh, so and I secretly try to sing in Spanish by myself where no one hears. So but I feel like it's not me, you know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't want it and if for some reason sometime I feel I want to write in Spanish, I'm not going to deny that, but it hasn't happened. So it's not that I don't want to, it's just it hasn't happened. And if it
Okay.
doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, you know.
Did you mostly grow up listening to English music, or?
Yeah, well, my parents were the ones who were always listening. I feel the music that my parents listened to is the music that I listened to when I was growing up, and then from there, when I started getting in like my guitar interest, that's when I started going through like a whole other world, but departing from where I was already before. And yeah, I mean, I don't remember listening to a lot of Spanish music here in my house. I mean, my parents know the classics and everything, but it was more about playing like 80s music from the States and things like that. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Was that mostly like classic rock, or was it just kind of like a
Yeah, it
everything?
was like a Bee Gees vibe, like a disco
Okay.
vibe. So that was pretty cool. And then all of a sudden I was the one who started listening to more like Led Zeppelin and all those bands when I started playing guitar. And from there I just started doing my own investigation. But again, departing from where my parents told me to.
Okay. Do you have a special way you like to find new music or anything?
Mm, I I don't want to say this, but I'm pretty like close. Like I'm not really open-minded when it comes to new music. I feel like when I listen to something that I like, I stay with that and I listen to that until I cannot take it anymore. But
Yeah.
that means like listening to that for like 2 years or something like that. And sometimes it's hard to be open to new music, especially if it's local musicians, because there are competitions. You really want to be like the one who who everybody's listening to. But I think um, when it comes to other bands and music that's playing right now, um, I say I'm open-minded, but it's pretty few bands or artists that I like most of their songs, and like I can call them like these are my favorite bands. So yeah. But any recommendations? That would be pretty cool. If you like, for example, when Justin came to my room, he was playing sometimes music. It was like, oh, this reminds me of this song as well. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna save this song as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I
for sure.
remember one artist that I showed you was POD, and that
Yeah,
one
I have
song
booked.
where
I've been listening to that. I've been listening to that ever since when you left. I started
yeah.
with the song. It was pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
remember. I think we're trying to figure out a way to incorporate like a faster guitar or something like that. You were saying you wanted more like hard rock. vibe, and you wanted to see how to integrate that sort of guitar or something like that
Yeah.
for one of your songs. And I was like, here, check this song out and tell me about it if you're
Yeah.
looking for something more fast paced. And yeah, I mean, if you listen to more of their stuff, I mean, it's pretty cool. They definitely have
Yeah.
different variety of feel.
Yeah. My sister, she's actually also like pretty. She has like this cool musical taste, but she doesn't play. She just sings. But she has like this whole like encyclopedia of artists at the moment and like all the rumors and everything. I don't care about the rumors, but it helps me because when I write a new song and I show it to her, she's like, "Oh, I've already heard that before," things like that. And so like,
Wow.
okay, I have to do it again. Or but it helps because I need that. It's like it's not like the job of a producer, sort of like that, where he helps you figure out your sound in a way and like, oh, this reminds me, what you want to do is this. And even if she's not a producer, she knows like a lot of music, so that helps me guide my songwriting process as well.
So she's your worst critic, if you will. No.
No, I do show my music to some friends, like to my girlfriend, to some friends, or to my sister, but not a lot of people, just to kind of get different opinions of like how does it sound.
I mean, that definitely is a cool way to, I think, incorporate and work with your family, especially being so close. I would see.
Yeah, at the beginning they were like I think they were pretty gentle with what I was writing. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, I like the little thing you did there. It's pretty good." But now as I think because they didn't know that I was doing it pretty like seriously, but when it turned to be serious, I felt like uh, they started getting more like the critics were kind of hard. Like, and my dad was like, if you want to release your music, you have to do it like good because this doesn't sound like a professional. And I was like, I spent too much time doing this. Okay.
I mean, that's, I think, a good way of looking at it. It's a bit of tough love, but a bit of reality.
Yeah,
I think.
and I'm thankful for that because
Yeah.
I wanted to release some music like 2 years ago, which I thought that it was already in great shape and it sounded perfectly. And then I look back right now and I'm like, it doesn't sound perfect. I'm glad that I recorded. Like for example, every day there was supposed to be another version before that, and I thought that was the best version ever. And then my dad told me, no, if you want to release music, let's go and record it like in an actual studio to make it sound nice. And and I'm happy about that because if not, I wouldn't sound that good. And also because there's some other songs that I did before that maybe were kind of cringy or something. And I'm happy that my dad saved me because imagine having like some music that maybe you're not a lot like you're not proud about it, and it's online or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, that's one thing that I would have to say, and I mean, I like being objective, and I like always. I think I remember one time when I told you when I was managing is that there's always room for growth, and always something you always have to improve, even when you think you're good and you think you're the most amazing or whatever. Don't let it get to you because that's a fool's errand, then because there's always a place to improve it and way to improve. And so I definitely commend your father and pushing you to make it sound more professional.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say this: your stuff that you did release, right? As a commoner and a common folk, I would say that your music was really good, especially for starters when we did the unreleased release. That I thought was absolutely, I thought it was amazing given the factor that this was recorded in your room, starting there in general, it's just like in hearing what you had put together with what you've had,
Mhm.
I thought was good and very awesome.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, those who missed out on the not being able to show up for the show missed out because we gave those 10 away.
Yeah.
And
I hope they are fine and they're safe right now.
yes, right.
The CDC.
Probably gotta check in to see how they're doing, and hopefully nothing wrong happened to them. In all seriousness, I do hope those first 10 were all right. I know we did another album which I still haven't been able to give to that individual. I'm looking to mail it to them. But yeah, unfortunately, there's still there's not much communication with them being in the army right now. So, but hopefully, I can get into contact with them soon, so that way I can give them their one of a kind unreleased release.
Yeah, one of a kind. It's really one of a kind.
So I do find that cool too that your sister over there is being that person that's I think your siblings one of those is like has no trouble being the person that's got to break it to you like it really is and saying like yeah I've heard that before or don't go for that. I think that's like my brother is be someone who's very open and honest with me when like friends sometimes would just be like patting you on the back and saying that they never heard that before or that's not necessarily
Mhm.
that's new to them. So how do you feel given the factor that you know you're being this person in a position where you're going to be kind of known and well known? How do you feel like yeah, how do you feel about finding people or bringing people into your circle more or less of trust? And are like when it comes to people being like yes men, for example, and just saying, yeah, that's good. Yes, is good. Do you feel that's something you kind of think about when bringing in friends or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want them to have some musical knowledge. So from the friends that I have, there's some people that are part of different like maybe plays or also play music or always listening to music or have this big knowledge about music. So I definitely want to go with them to ask them about my music. But at the same time, well, because I don't want just to share my feelings to anyone just like that because at the end my music are my feelings or things that I think about. So it's really about wanting to find some people that know about music because I just want to make my music better. I would say that I would like to know if people like it or not, but that's something that you don't know until you release it. It's something that you cannot control because people are gonna like what they like and people are gonna hate what they hate. So, but the most that I can do is to find people such as my sister or my girlfriend or some other friends that play music as well or have musical backgrounds or sing or do any of those things. I think I will want to go with them to ask them about my music. So yeah. Hmm.
So is it again? Is it like more? Is it difficult to find good friends when a dime in a dozen? A
Yeah.
factor
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I know some people. Granted that you're not like let's say but you're pretty well known. I would have to say, but does that still play in a factor with let's say someone coming in that just wants to talk to you because you're Adam Stone, right?
Hmm.
Is that something you worry about often?
I mean, it just happened. I think it only happened one time where there was like this guy who he also plays music, and like we started becoming friends, sharing ideas. But I felt like he was trying to take advantage out of me, so that was not cool. So, but I felt the whole interest when he knew that I play music, that I was Adam Stone. I was playing around and things like that. So I'm definitely pretty careful with who I am sharing my things because, especially because, like my everything that I'm creating, it's all in my computer. And it's not like well protected, as in it's not copyrighted or anything. So if somebody listens to something that I did and then wants to copy it or something, it's not gonna be cool. So I'm pretty careful with who I show my music or where I put my music as well. In that, hmm
Mhm.
but
What was going back to America and the cultural or in the differences between Mexico and America, what was like the biggest, I think, cultural shock or difference to you?
mhm. Well, uh, you mean just like in general?
Yeah, just in general, like
Just like
what was yeah, what was like a difference that you felt was, was shocking to you or something of the matter.
values, morals, ideologies. I think. I mean, just also coming from here and from my family, how I was raised, and then going to an art school, it was just like the complete opposite thing. So I think it was one of the biggest things, which made me miss my home as well. So I would say the biggest cultural shock was the like different values and different like the different lifestyle in general. Pretty interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
think family values was one of the biggest thing I saw. That was the difference. Like when I went to Mexico, everyone was all about their family. You hug and kiss everyone when you walk in to see them. Here, it's just kind of like, hey, what's up?
Hmm.
And you might not talk to them for a while or see them for a while.
Yeah, I
But
just felt, and then being by myself as well, it was like, uh,
yeah,
like I cannot do anything about it. Just have to
I,
adapt.
I definitely agree with Junior in that regard. Like that's literally what I was about to say too. Like, yeah, I felt probably biggest difference would probably be there are family values out here in America as opposed to any other country. Actually, I've
Mhm.
seen in most countries like in Asia and even Indian culture, Mexican culture, just so many different cultures, they take family very seriously.
Mhm.
And that's something that, and they're super inviting towards family. I mean, given the factor that if, let's say, the person even screwed up, they're very open towards their family. When it comes to America, it seems like we're very closed off in regards to our family. Like, a lot of people believe that, and I find it weird because I mean, my parents kind of raised me to be this person that takes family very seriously, that loves family, and blood runs thicker than water is what we believe, and having respect towards family. And when I came to talking with other individuals, I mean, they believe like, you can't live at home at 18. You can't, rely on your family for certain things. And I thought that was absolutely strange and weird, given the factor that, and I'm not even that, I wasn't like born somewhere else. I'm like, I didn't understand that we had this large of values difference when it came to family.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's something you had seen more or less while being out here.
I mean, for me, family is also like the. I'm very very close. I go every Sunday to visit my grandparents. We we every time we find an excuse to celebrate something to get together, or just because we want to celebrate something, or even if there's nothing to celebrate, we just want to get together. And I feel like that was something that's something that we still do every time. So I mean, going over there to the States, I mean, I definitely felt like uh, all the students and my friends who were at the dorms, for example, I felt like they didn't have very close connection with their family. This my roommates. I remember. I mean, I I was every time I was FaceTiming my parents and things like that, and they were not doing those things. So I mean, I was like, how can you not live like that? But yeah, coming from like my background is the same. We celebrate almost everything together in family. So it's definitely pretty hard to then go study by yourself to another country and be by yourself after spending like your entire life with family, friends, and everyone around you, you know. So and the worst part was that they keep on doing those things and you're away. So you
Yeah.
can't be part of those things anymore. So
Yeah. What do you feel is the thing that at the time you were missing most about your family when you're out this way?
some days
So,
because it was a drastic change from visiting my grandparents and being together because we always say like Sunday is a family day to being alone on Sunday in my dorm. So that's kind of, and then my parents don't use their phone a lot, so uh, they were still doing the family Sunday thing, and I didn't know what was happening, what they were doing, or if they were having like a party, or if they were having like a reunion, and I was just by myself. That was like a big change.
what do you feel is like sort of the cause of America's sort of cultural difference when it comes to their ideologies on family?
The cost?
Yeah, the no, like what do you think's the cultural difference? Like
Oh,
what do you, yeah, what causes, yeah, cause, what do you think causes that?
no clue. I don't
Uh,
know. Uh, mm,
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't even know what I almost want to say capitalism, maybe like how much value we put on money over
yeah.
here, but I don't know if that's like the right answer or not. That's just
I mean, it's an answer, right? I
yeah,
do. I kind of couldn't agree to that. I just feel like it's the, I mean, because I don't really know the answer either, but I would agree that it's like maybe it's the capitalism, like money, when it comes to having to work all the time, and I
but
well,
think,
they also drive us to
I
make
mean,
as much money as we can, save up for everything. And I think maybe people kind of lose sight of family at that point because they're
yeah,
raised to.
but I mean, even so, for example, my dad, he goes to work every week to Mexico City, and so he has to fly on Monday and comes back on Thursday. And he's only spends like the weekend with us. So even if like he's still working, we are able to still find time to spend like family time, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
so yeah, I mean, I feel there's nothing wrong in like working with all the money because at the end
Yeah, you need it.
you need
yeah,
it. But I feel like we always, for some reason, which I don't know, but for some reason we rely on our family. Like family is the most important thing. And I mean, I just felt, I mean, I could say that that's like the only thing that could be improved in the American culture, but I'm not American, so I'm not going to say anything that's not like Thank you.
yeah. No, we're not trying to go on a bashing spree. It's just like I feel, yeah, it's just so different, and I kind of wish everyone had that sort of family value because at sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own country that I'm born in because some people don't really hold that regard towards family, and I'm not saying everybody in America is like that. I want to make that clear as well.
Mhm.
But most of what I've seen has been this like closed-minded mindset where it's just about me and what I can do for me, how I can help me. um they're like, what are you gonna do next week? I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. It's not like a what are we gonna do, or let me check with my family to see this. And I find it strange that some parents believe that, I gotta push the bird out of the nest and hope it flies sort of mentality. Like I get the world is tough, but I feel like anyone could learn that. Like let's say for instance at home or with their family, the ways of the world, like your father, for instance, pushing you to say this needs to be more refined. I want this music to sound better and more professional. And that's something you learned at home. You didn't have to
Yeah.
go out there in the world and learn the hard way, um, through the experiences of, this real life. I personally believe that when it comes to family, I don't feel that, because the world is, let's be honest, it can be a crappy place. And I don't feel that it's right to push your own child out there into the crappy place. Yeah, sure, it's not good to coddle them, but they have plenty of years and plenty of time to learn that this world can be rough and tough.
Mhm.
And why I think everyone needs a safe place to go at some point. And if they can't count on your parents, the people who raised you, who brought you into this life, I find that heart wrenching and a bit sad, when it comes to that regard.
Mhm.
Also, I think what are the things that you wanted to do when you're out here that you didn't necessarily get to do? Like, did you go to any amusement parks or have that sort of experience out here?
I wanted to go to a Blackhawks game. I wasn't able to go to one. So it's
Oh, you're
that.
missing out.
Yeah.
I've
Um,
never been to a game, but I mean, I love the Blackhawks, so.
I I think there was this like glass window at the, I don't know if it's John Hancock Observatory or something that moves like that,
Ooh.
something, and that would be cool. I will want to go back to have a snowball fight again.
Oh
Besides
yeah.
National Museum of Mexican Art, that was a pretty cool.
Yeah, that definitely was a fun day.
That was a pretty fun day.
A
I'd say
fun
we
story
bonded.
as well. I would like to tell it with him actually. That was a pretty fun story. We went to, what was it, the Mexican
National Museum.
Culture Museum, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I forgot where. Don't tell me where. I'm horrible with directions. Everyone knows that. At some street somewhere in Chicago. We went out there. I think it was me, you, and Denise at the time. We were still managing you two at the time, and it was definitely we needed a break. I wanted to have some sort of bonding experience.
Yes.
You did too. And we wanted to have this fun day where we're not worrying about work. We're just relaxing, having fun, and just, bonding with each other essentially. And the museum, we went there. It was really cool.
Mhm.
The only sad thing, it was really short. You're
Yeah,
like, wow, like this is like, because we're all like Mexican there.
yeah.
Like literally all of us are Mexican. So going there was like really cool to see our culture being represented in a museum. And
Mhm.
it was like, it finished in like, 20 minutes. Like, oh, okay, we're done. But you ended up buying like that cool like flag
Oh
strip
yeah, having
for your
my
store.
yes.
And then they had the conchas and everything there, and like they had the lucha lord masks that
Yeah.
we,
I was taking pictures in the
that we
game.
were just, yeah, taking pictures of. I gotta check to see if I still have those and send them to you, or I might have taken them on your phone. I don't remember. All I know is we're having a blast. It was super fun. And then the day kind of ended because we traveled all this way, and it was only like a 20-minute museum, and we're like, oh, okay, I guess we go home now. Or I think we went to go out to eat, or no, we went out to eat, I think, beforehand, right?
Yeah. For so Denise had a hamburger like in the box,
Yeah.
and and then we just went out of the museum and went to the park, which was just besides the museum, and it was a snowy day. There was ice, there was snow, and we just started having a snowball fight. It was pretty cool. There was like this playground, so Justin and I were in charge of the playground, and we just kicking Denise out. So I remember we just throwing snowballs at her, and she left the hamburger box in one corner of like tent or something like that, and I just and we were saying, we were threatening her, I think, to.
Yeah. So like she didn't. So we had a snowball fight, and she sat down the whole time. She was being a real damper on the mood. I really like let's snowball fight, right? We're like snowball fighting, and she was just sitting there watching us, and it felt awkward. I was like, you know what? No, you need to snowball fight with us. Like no one just sits there, and so like I felt like she was like our mom, and we're just like running around like kids having fun at this park. So what we did is we climbed up, like you know how the parks like have those different levels, and sometimes there's like a real high level. Like the park at your old neighborhood dinner, and it
Yeah.
has like that large slide that goes down, but there's a really tall like platform. Well, we went up there to this tall platform, and we had snowballs. And Denise was like, we started throwing snowballs at her, right? And she started running away. And we're like, Denise, either come back or, and Adam's like, I'm gonna hit your burger that's sitting right there on this ledge. It was on this ledge. Denise had ran away a little bit further distance, and she said she was gonna come back. And we're like, well, come back or it's you or your sandwich, we said, right? It was just a threat. All right. I started saying it as a threat. I'm like, it's you or your burger. So she starts deciding, right? You can see it in her eye. And I'm like, either you get pelted with this or it's your food. And you don't really get in the way of a girl's food because they're gonna, the girls are hungry and you mess with their food. I don't think you're gonna be a happy camper. So anyway, so she starts coming back. She's like, all right, I'll take the bullet from rather than the food. Walking back, Adam decides he couldn't wait anymore. And he just whips a huge snowball at her food, not at her, knocking her burger off.
That's funny. We just disappeared from the scene. Like it just from the legend. There was nothing, and it just. It was the best moment.
It was the best moment for you. And I was like, I immediately got afraid because we just hit her burger. And I look at him and I said, it was just a threat. It wasn't even a promise. And he ends up throwing the snowball and freaking breaking the box. It was horrible. And her burger, literally all the condiments and everything was just laid out on the floor, and she was so upset at us. We ended up having to we ended up picking up the burger, right? Or at least what was left of it. Like the box itself cracked on the side from how hard he threw the the snowball. And so anyway, we pick up her burger, and Adam starts putting it back together, and he's like, it's okay. He's like, you can still eat it. She was so upset at us. But yeah, that definitely was a fun memory. And then we started going on the swings, and there was this one swing in particular that locked. And
yeah, I was he locked me in the swing. I couldn't do anything, and I was just like that, and they just started throwing snowballs at me. Like
to get revenge, and then I started spinning you on that same swing where you twist them and then you push, and then they just start spinning in a circle going around and around. That was oh my gosh, that was a fun day.
That, and also when we went to bake some pancakes in my apartment.
Oh yes, you definitely have a close relationship with your fans, because one of the individuals wanted pancakes, and Denise in general wanted pancakes with, what was it, blueberries or whatever?
Yeah, something. We started laughing because I think they melted or something.
Yeah, you put the blueberries on there, and he flips it onto the stove, and the blueberries that were in a smiley face, right? They were flipped. We didn't know that they'll pop. And they popped when he flips it back over. It was like almost like a horrible, like someone had just beat the pancake in the face. And like I instantly started like crying laughing, because it went from like a happy face to this horrible like mess of face. And Denise was kind of disappointed that her blueberries were freaking, they weren't so happy anymore.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was a wonderful time. I would say I enjoyed my time managing you.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah, if you come back to America, I hope to manage you again sometime. But yeah, I think given now the experiences that you had with us, what's put you on the spot here? What's something you would look for when it comes to, let's say, if you do find management elsewhere,
Like something I would like to achieve.
or just something you look for when it comes to management?
Hmm. Um, I really like to. I mean, my ultimate goal will be to be able to tour. So to have the help of someone to book and to manage the whole tour and organize it, that would be pretty cool. Because I mean the reason for which I started playing music in the first place was because I really like live music. So it will be a dream to be able to manage and organize the whole thing. That would be pretty cool.
I know one thing that from this management experience, I know you definitely did learn a lot of do's and don'ts. And the
Yeah.
one thing that made me sad was that when we had that oopsie list going on, we never got to finish now the
Oh yeah.
second bit.
Yeah, but I think it was a cool thing having the UPC list, and that's something that everybody at home should have, and that
Yeah,
everybody who's doing some sort of management or any sort of business related thing with someone should have an UPC list. You should
I
have an UPC list for the amateur hour as well.
yeah, I think one thing that might have missed out last episode when we had you for the interview was we didn't really get to. I think that it ended up cutting out was the oopsie list, and the oopsie
Oh,
list. Yeah, I'm
well,
not sure if it was in the episode or not. I don't think it. I think it ended up having to be cut out because of the
I
glitch.
always explain the UPC list.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
basically,
like,
yeah, I
go-
guess basically the oopsies is a method of punishment. Well, no, it's just it's a way to maybe just track the the good things and the bad things, mainly the bad things that you've been doing when it comes to being like working together or something. For example, in the case of the management thing that we were having last semester, was when somebody did something like if somebody didn't tell the truth about something or forgot to do a very important job that he or she was assigned to do, that was an oopsie, for example. And there were big oopsies and there were like small oopsies. But I think at the end he just went out of control and we're just putting oopsies because of like the pancake, because Denise almost burned my kitchen. That was like a big oopsie. but there were other oopsies like, oh, like I remember one was I didn't tell them that. What was that? I didn't tell you they already had
uh,
an album.
yeah.
See, so oh yeah, well, it has to do a lot with transparency. So to make everything clear, and if somebody didn't say something, that will be an oopsie. For example, an not having 3 songs on YouTube, and then also saying that you don't have like a full length album with 12 songs or 13.
Yeah, I remember the time that I had found that out, and what he's referring to is that yeah, he had a full the unreleased release, what we call that. It was like an album, I think, of like 13 songs. And one day, I'm driving, or I think I was on my way to have a meeting with them. I get a call, and it's Denise. And Denise says, "So Adam didn't tell us this, but he has a full album." I was like, "What? A full album?" I thought he had 3 songs that he had on SoundCloud. I was like, "What's going on here?" you know, um, I was like, oh, okay, and I ended up singing it. And then he had a full album. I'm like, I don't know why he didn't tell this in the beginning of of us managing him. But I thought that it was funny, but at the same time it was upsetting. I was like, okay, oopsie, listen, like
Yeah,
put
it's
that
funny.
on.
It's funny, but like it works if you think about the future. Like right now it was just an album, but it works for other things as well,
Yeah.
and just to keep the transparency going.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a ton of fun using, and I definitely suggest people using that
Yeah, and
do
you
it
have
because it can be fun, and
yeah,
at the same token, it kind of keeps track of everyone like in their mistakes or whatnot.
there shouldn't
Um,
be any consequences. Although I wrote that 20 oopsies, like someone was gonna get fired.
yeah, and we never got to finish that.
Yeah.
I think one thing too that I at least want to cover as well, is we never well, that had cut out from the first episode was how we originally met. And that was definitely a story to
So,
be told
sorry.
and super
So,
fun. I was at the time taking a talent
yeah.
management course, of which I was supposed to choose a musician, a comedian, a model, an actor, and whoever signs up, one of those of the genre. Um, and we had about, I think it was 24 people, 26, close to 30 people sign up for this list, and we had to audition them for 5 minutes, or no, three, excuse me, 3 minutes, and it was 2 minutes was supposed to be for asking questions for the individuals, and eventually then we're supposed to contact them afterwards if we enjoyed what they did, and asked if we could manage them and see if they would be willing to do so. And then Adam definitely had a different experience other than I. You could probably get into your side of things before
Well,
I
I
continue.
remember I heard about the auditions, and um, I on first semester they told me about the auditions, but I got late to them, so I was like, I have to wait till next year. So like this was like the very famous talent management class audition I was heading to, and there were other people outside as well. Some people had like a ukulele, some people were practicing their singing, some people were doing this and that, and I was like the only one who required like a guitar amp and the mic stand as well. So I was pretty nervous because some people, like for example, the actors or the comedians, just show up. They go on stage, they say the things, their lines, and they just get off stage. But I needed a guitar amp, I needed a microphone. I was freaking out, and the teacher Vanessa, she was there, and I was telling her like, I need these things in order to like show them what I'm all about. I don't want to just play half of what I am. I normally use backing tracks and I sing and I do a lot of things and jump around. But I remember I went on stage and everybody was looking at me. Right now I still remember there was only blurry faces, so I couldn't see anyone. And I put my phone with the song and I start singing. And then this girl in the middle of the audition says, "All right, stop. I heard enough." And then I was like, "I haven't played guitar. I've been only singing." And she was like, "Oh, okay. You have the guitar." I play guitar, and then she was again like trying to insist, like, "Okay, stop." So I think I got to show like everything, and that's when I had my small questionnaire, and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm stoned, and I would like to do this, and blah blah blah. And then as soon as I get off stage, I see two people stand up, and I saw before I went to the audition, there were other people from the class that were going out speaking to the people who were auditioning, as if they were interested in managing them. So I saw that it like two people stood up, and that was Justin, and then this weird guy, and then first the weird guy was I don't remember what he said, but I was pretty scared, and then he left, and then Justin came, was like, and we had this pretty good conversation, and I don't know if you want to tell that as well.
yeah, no, definitely when you got on stage, because you use this ghost persona, is what we say, or presence, when you go on stage, and at least for your opening act, you'll wear the ghost, which has a big representation to a lot of your music and how you feel. And I really liked that idea, and that was so different. But when you first were going up, all I saw was a white sheet. All right, and I was kind of afraid because I didn't know you at the time. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, if it has a point, I'm scared, right? I was like, then I'm gonna run away, and this is weird. So at first, when I seen him, and like he just dipped behind, there was this podium, and because he didn't have a place to change, so he dipped behind the podium, puts it on, and then he just jumps out. And I was like, oh gosh, what am I gonna expect here? And then he started playing the song every day, I believe it was, and I really got into the lyrics, and I enjoyed the lyrical value. And I know sometimes he doesn't like to hear this, but he said reminded me of 21 Pilots, but at the same token, he reminded me about something super unique, and so I was like really impressed with it. And then I was low key the timekeeper of the
But
three
you were
minutes. Yeah, so I had to tell the girls like, "Hey, we're at time," and then they're like, "All right, stoop, stoop." Like, you need to not sing anymore. And then I did feel bad though, because like he was like in the middle of like a chorus or like about to hit it, and then they're just like, yeah, no. And then he started playing guitar, and when he whips out his guitar and he started playing the rest of the song, I was like, yeah, this is okay, I'm interested. Number 13, I'll never forget it. In the 20 something amount of people. So I was impressed. I was very deeply impressed, and I sat through a lot of people, and other people they were decent, but no one had that sort of uniqueness to them that I would feel a connection with. So then, yeah, I stood up, and the guy he said who was super creepy, had came up and went to talk with him, and I was like, oh man, I missed my chance. Like here it goes. I was gonna sit down and just try and email him or something. But then I was like, you know what? No, I don't care. I'm gonna steal him. So then anyway, he's finished talking with the guy, and I ran after him after he finished talking with him, and I pulled him aside, and I talked your ear off as I normally do with most people. And I was just kind of offering you my services and what I knew, what I didn't know, where I wanted to learn and improve, where I wanted to see you learn and improve. And um, I definitely was very honest with you, and very stern in the beginning too
Yeah.
about what things that I'm looking for, and what would make me not want to manage someone, and all those aspects like that. But I'm glad you did say yes afterward.
Well,
And
I got your email. I took some days to answer it back, and then uh, like you were thinking that I didn't want to, and I went with the other guy.
yeah,
I was
I
like,
was a
hold up, just wait one more day, and then I sent the email saying yeah, and yeah, the rest is
yeah.
an experience.
And the one thing I'd like to add, it definitely was like an instant connection where I'm like, oh, I could be friends with this guy. It was like, it was just super fun talking and everything.
Yeah, that was a really important thing to, and you made it clear since the first day that you said, like, yes, we're business partners, but also like we need to be friends.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
only like that, because I felt other people, like for example, in other managers that were in class, I felt it was just like a business relationship, but they were missing like for example, going to the National Museum of Mexican Art and throwing snowballs. So,
like yeah, it's not really business really. It's fun, you know. And I think for managers out there, one thing I would give him advice to, and I'm sure some know, or if you're new to it, or if you're looking to manage, if you are looking to manage anyone, I would say be friends first, and because I think that was more important than managing someone. Because at the end of the day, if that person's down and out because they didn't make it, or they're not top label, or something of the matter of the music, the person they can count on that's going to get them through it is going to be their manager. So if you could be friends first and be friends, you can know how to console someone. And I think it makes it all the more interesting as well. and motivates everyone when they're all friends. Also demotivates everyone because we definitely could have at times been a handful and we're just horsing around with our jokes and whatnot. But I don't know, it definitely was a blast. And yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, though, we are at time. And so I definitely want to thank you again for being guest host,
Oh
if
yeah,
you
no,
will.
anytime, please. I wanna. I'll come back until I have my complete amateur experience.
Yes,
Even if
yes.
I have it, I'll still come back for more amateur hours.
Yeah, I definitely want to bring it back for the full amateur hour experience. Hopefully, we can get you in the studio. Hopefully, eventually, we can be a part of the growth, and we want to make this something more live as well and more visual podcast, but that might take some time. But at least to get you back before then is still going to be wonderful. If you guys would like to check Adam Stone out, his link has actually always been in the description, just because
Oh,
he's our tagline of a friend of a show. So he pops up as under the sponsor time. So if I were you guys, check out his link tree. It's going to be in the description. You can find him on Spotify. You can find him on SoundCloud. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him even on MySpace. I mean, come on, I'm just kidding. You can find him on all these platforms. So if I were you guys, check him out. I'm definitely going to have him a link at the end of the video as well, and as well as the top right corner and the link in the description. He's going to be everywhere. All right. So check him out. His music is wonderful. Uh, Again, thank you so much for showing out.
thank you.
And don't forget about our sponsors, EBXYA and Lofty Cat Studios. You can find their descriptions too in the description below. And I do want to say to EBXYA, I hope things are everything's happening well during this quarantine because they are located out in China. So I do want to give them a quick shout out, and I hope everything's doing well, that you guys are doing well. I have to keep in communication with you guys so soon. Again, a little shout out to Lofty Cat Studios. Thank you again so much for sponsoring. Your guys' support means the world. And with that said, I hope everyone at home stays safe. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye.